2, 3. Cut. And just turn it. I'm not pushing hard with the knife at all. And pry up like that. That'll come right off. See that came off? While you're doing that, you're just pulling away. Pulling the chicken away. Okay. Okay, so there's the breast. Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and today I'm going to do a video on how to cut a chicken up. Price of food's going up everywhere. I think this one we got for $8.80 a kilogram. And if you got the parts that were cut off, like if you got a package of chicken quarters or drumsticks, those were like $15 a kilogram. If you want a boneless breast, that was something like $20 a kilogram. If you don't use metric, just use your Google to convert those amounts. Anyway, typically, I mean, every once in a while, thigh will go on sale, drumstick will go on sale, things go on sale. But consistently over time, you'll find that whole chicken is a better price. Why? Because when you're paying for parts of a chicken, you're also paying for the labor of dividing that chicken up. So this is not hard to do. This takes a matter of minutes to do. I'm going to do it slowly because I'm showing you how to do it. But what I'm going to do in this video, if I had a bunch of chickens, I'd show you one at normal speed and one at high speed. But this takes a couple minutes to do. It's not hard to do. And I'll zoom in a little bit more when I'm actually showing that part of it. First, a little bit talking about knives. Something like this, meat cleaver, you could do it, but it's kind of clumsy and too big. The classic chef's knife, you can do it with the chef's knife. I think it's a little too big, but it'll work. That's all you got. For me, you want something like this. A classic kitchen knife. This is about 6 inches long and about 1.5 inches at the handle. Or a boning knife, okay? 5 inches long, narrow blade, nice and sharp. Either of those will work, okay? I'm going to use a classic kitchen knife. It's actually easier with the boning knife because that's what you're doing, you're boning. I'm going to do it with the kitchen knife just to show that there's a variety of things. But the main thing is the knife has to be sharp. Using a dull knife for this, and you don't want a serrated edge. I mean, you can do it with that, but it's clumsy and it doesn't work as well. You want a nice sharp knife, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can find a sharp knife at the dollar store. What you want to get is one of these things, a hone. As long as the knife's sharp, whenever you go to use your knife, every time, you just feel the edge and you can feel it's sharp. If it doesn't feel sharp, you just run along the blade on an angle, down like that. 2, 3. 3 times the side. And then it's sharp. If I wanted to, I could lick my arm here and shave the hair off. This has not been sharpened on a whetstone or anything like that in a year, but it's still very, very sharp. What's the test for a knife being sharp? Take a piece of paper and it should cut the paper like that. It's sharp. Okay, let's get to work on this chicken. All right, so what I'm going to do here is divide this into 3 things. I'm going to remove the legs and the wings. I'm going to remove the legs and the thighs and the wings. That's sort of like one meal for a family of 4. I'm going to remove the breast. That's another meal. I think 2 breasts, all the breasts off a chicken is enough for a meal for a family of 4. And then I got the back, right? So I'll show you how to deal with that. And you just put that in a big pot and make broth for whatever kind of, your stock, right? In this case later on today, I'm making jambalaya with rice, and it's nice to have nice chicken broth for that. So this part of the chicken, you got this fat here. Just remove that. Just put that in a little container here. There's always these flaps. I mean, you can use that. You can save it. It's flavor. You can perfectly fine. I just don't need it. Don't want it. Okay. And the first thing you do is remove. There's different ways to do this. Sometimes there's a bit of like I see there's a little bit of feathers or whatever. Depends on where you get your chicken. Just pick that off. It should come off. Okay. All right. Now you just hold it. So you're suspending the chicken And right in this sort of armpit area, right? As you're bearing the weight of the chicken with that arm, you just cut. And the chicken will sort of tell you, you just follow it. It'll tell you how it wants to come apart, like that. Okay? The same thing with the other one. Right there at that armpit, right? You just cut and just turn it. I'm not pushing hard with the knife at all. Okay, I'm letting the weight do the work and it comes off. Once you've got these two pieces, there's a place right where it bends. If you feel around with your knife, there's a place where you cut through the cartilage. So I haven't cut through the bone there. Lots of times you see people just taking the chicken going bang, 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 and smashing the bones. You get all these little shards of bones in your food. You don't want that, especially if you've got kids or, you know, anyone. Well, you don't want people choking on bones, right? So if you feel around as you're cutting, you'll find where the cartilage is, and there's a place where it wants to come apart. Okay, so here I've got a nice little piece of chicken wing. No bone shards because they cut it right at the joint through the cartilage. Okay, so I'm going to put that in this container. I'll do that all over again. So sometimes another way of looking at it, there's two sides. There's sort of like the bottom and the top. You can see how the skin looks different on each side. On this side, there's a little bump right about there. And usually somewhere around that bump is where you feel around a bit. Somewhere around that bump is where you can cut through without getting into bone. Okay, same thing on this side. There's a bump somewhere. Somewhere near that bump you can cut through without getting into bone. So I haven't broken any bones. We just sliced through the joint. Okay, that's your arms or your wings. Now we got our legs. Same idea. Suspend. You got some skin here. I'm not pushing hard. I mean, I could do this with 2 fingers basically, right? You cut that skin, okay? Now there's a muscle right here. So you just sort of make a slice down the center of the chicken along that muscle. Then you take it and you bend it like that. Bend the leg in and pry up like that. That'll come right off. See that came off? It doesn't always come off like that, but today it did, okay? That's one. Do the same thing on this side. Right, suspend, slice. Get in here, just loosen that up a little bit with the tip of the knife. Bend, pull. It comes off. This one didn't. I got the whole. Some chickens are more or less mature, so I got a little bit more than I bargained for when I broke that off there. That's okay. I still got a nice thigh. Okay. Okay, so there's our thighs. Now, on the thigh, you can see it's sort of light in color here. Light in color here and darker in color here. Right around that seam, somewhere, is where the joint is. So you just feel around for it with your knife. Of course, today it's making me look. That's not it. There it is. Okay, you just feel around for it. You shouldn't be going through bone. You can see that's bone there, that's bone there. Right, so there's a place you're feeling for when you're cutting there. See if I can get it better this time. There we go. Nope. Right around there. There it is. Okay. So I've gone through without cutting the bone. All right. There we got 2 wings, 2 thighs, 2 drumsticks, and that's enough for a meal. It's not a ridiculous amount of chicken, but how much chicken do you need, right? Everyone gets a piece and there's a little bit left over, a couple wings left over. Okay, so now we got our ribs and back and all that sort of stuff, and the breast. Okay, so to me, the easiest way to deal with this, there's lots of different ways. You can literally just pry it. You can get expensive kitchen scissors and just cut through down here and down here. Or with your knife, you just sort of just go down like that. This way, I'm going through a bit of bone here, but it's not a big deal. You can also just, I cut the one side, you can also just rip. It will come loose, okay? Now this part of the chicken, you're just sort of lifting and pulling. Okay, so that's our back and a bit of ribs and all that sort of stuff that goes in the pot. Now I still got lots of bone here. Okay, I could cut this right in half with this knife for meat. This is the, what's that called? The sternum. Okay, so that's actually easy to cut through. So if I wanted to just have like 2 roasted breasts bone in, I'd cut it right down the middle. I just hold the knife like this and hit it really hard, and I could cut that in half, no problem. I want to breast it out because I want to put these bones in the pot to make more stock. So I want to, sorry, I said breast it out, fillet this out. So I'm just going to get on the middle of the top. There's lots of different ways to do this. Okay, I'm feeling for, the chicken has like a, what do you call it? Some sort of part of its anatomy that sticks out, a bony structure right in the center here. So you're just feeling for that. Okay, and you go on one side of it with your knife. And while you're doing that, you're just pulling away. Pulling the chicken away. You're using the tip of your knife to find the bone as you're pulling with your hand. And hopefully your fingers don't end up in the mix here. Okay. Okay, so there's the breast. Skin on. I like the skin, so lots of flavor in the skin. If you don't want the skin, you just pull it off, right, and chuck it. If you like the skin because it's got all this flavor and stuff, there's your breast. Okay. Put that in here. And do the same thing on the other side. Okay, with finding that, whatever that bone's called. Someone knows chicken anatomy. This is hard to do facing the camera, but I'll try. So I'm going down the side of that bone. I'm just, another way to do it is you can just sort of push with the knife. You can slice a bit and push off with the knife. Just a little slice, push, like that. And all this involves getting your hands in the chicken. If you're one of these squeamish people who doesn't want to touch anything, then you're probably hopeless, but my advice would be to get over it because you'll save a lot of money. Okay, so it's just enough to fill that, right? About a pint of chicken, solid chicken. That's great for a stir fry, fajita night, whatever you want, right? Now I got this bony part left over. There's still some chunks of meat on there, the broth, and picking off some of the meat. That'd be perfect for tonight's jambalaya. All right, so that didn't take too long. You know, if you're not on YouTube explaining how to do it, it only takes a few minutes, really, especially as you get better and faster with it. You know, my wife will often come home with 3 chickens. I think Costco sells 3 whole chickens in a bag. So I have to do this for all 3. And you'll find over time, if you're doing that over and over again, you get fast. There's lots of other ways to do up a chicken. You can butterfly it, you can flatten it. There's all kinds of different tricks. I've only got 1 chicken here, so this is, in my opinion, this is the most general purpose way to do it. Also, you know, if you're gonna roast a chicken, there's a different way to do it. The way I was showing with the breast, when I remove that back, when I remove these parts off the breast, but I still hadn't filleted them out. If I was roasting, I'd put these parts in a roasting pan, and I'd put that whole breast, before it was filleted or anything, the whole thing, I'd put that in with the bone, right? Whole breast with the bone with just this part removed, right? I put that whole thing in, because it doesn't take as long to cook as a thigh or a drumstick. So it really depends on what you're going to do. But if you roast chicken, you know, roasting chicken's easy to do. You rub a little pepper and salt and some herbs and stick it in the oven. It takes a certain amount of time to cook if it's whole. It cooks a lot faster if it's been dismantled like this. All right, so now you put this in the fridge or put it in the freezer, depending on when you're going to use it, and you're all ready to go for whatever you want to do with your chicken. So there you have it. Not hard to do. Next time you're at the grocery store, if you can't believe the prices of things, maybe think about buying a whole chicken. You know, sometimes it costs more than this, that, or the other thing, but generally speaking, the whole chicken is the better deal. You cut it up yourself. It doesn't take long to do once you get good at it. And you've got all these great options for cooking. Great way to, great new skill to acquire. I recommend it to anyone. I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. Check out my articles at maritimegardening.substack.com. And until next time, have fun in your garden, have fun in your kitchen. Thanks for watching.